workshop. Welcome. It's a bit warm, so the camera will probably break very shortly. So what have we got tonight? I thought we'd do a bit of a how-to on tubs, seeing as they're quite rare now. I think a lot of the pro riders still ride them, but most people are going towards tubeless. So I don't know if I've shown these in the workshop. These are something I picked up a couple of months ago off Facebook Marketplace. Only paid 90 quid with tyres and a cassette. There's two of them, Exhibit A and Exhibit B. One of the tyres have got a slow puncture in. One of them, and they're both 25s, and I generally ride 23s on tubs. So I want them for a bike I'm going to basically use for events or something if I don't want to use my best bike, which is now the Pro. So I stripped the tyres off them. I think I did a video on that stuff. So that's the glue remover, tape remover, and they've cleaned up really nicely. There was a bit of a problem. I think some of the glue that they had used on the front wheel, not the back wheel. So we'll put the back wheel down for a minute. We'll bring that back shortly. Was a bit too aggressive and possibly not tub tape glue, because when I was peeling the thing off, it actually pulled the gel coat finish off. So there's nothing wrong with it structurally, they'll still work, but I want to get a good surface with the tub tape on there, so I'm going to try and re-gel coat it. So I have bought some more fiberglass gel coat just to repair that bit of the rim. So I've got to work out the best way of doing that. I think possibly the best way of doing it is to put some more gel coat on, put some cellophane or tape over it, and then put an inner tube over it and blow it up, and that'll force it into all the gaps and everything, and then we'll have to do that a couple of times to build it up, but we'll see how that goes. There's one area that's really bad there, and there's a couple of little bits that I might just paint over. There's a little bit. Oh, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just that one big bit. Yeah, there's a little bit there. That's it. It's that one. I thought I'd show you in the meantime, though, while we're waiting, because I haven't done this in a while. So I thought I'd save it for you. So this is the other one I cleaned down. You can see the surface is okay on this. It's still a little tacky in places, but that's not going to hurt. Most of the tape's off. This was proper tub tape on this one, so there's no areas where we've destroyed or pulled the gel coat off. So that one's all good. So what we will do now, right side that way. So there's two sides to it. Yeah, there will, because it'll be angled, won't it? Right, never thought about that. So we're going to stick some tub tape on. We're going to stick the tyres on. Right, so I've not looked at this since I bought it. So I always remember we had like this cloth tape that you put on, and it was like black and sticky on one side. So this is cloth. Yeah, that looks about right. And you put it on, and then you peel the top off and leave the sticky behind. If we've got the right stuff. Yeah, so I'll just take a minute to read the instructions. You don't need to worry. Well, I planned it last one. The wrong tape. That's rim tape they've sent me. They've not sent me the tub tape that I asked for. So just had a quick scan. There's not many places got it in stock, but there's a J. James's locally. I think it might be the original J. James is near us. So I'm just going to pile down there. I think they've got some in, so I'll see if I'll give them a ring tomorrow. If they've got it in stock, I'll go and get it, because it's cheaper than most of the places wanted 22 quid for a set of tub tape. That's ridiculous. It used to be a couple of quid. It's just double-sided gooey tape. Ridiculous. Anyway, right, let's have a scan at this. So I've got something to bond the bottom bracket of the orange bike. But in the meantime, that's something else. That's some adhesive to repair a paddleboard. So you get to see that one soon. Right, let me go find something to mix this in. Right, let me shift the phone out of the way. So it's a 1 to 10 mix in weight, but I'm going to go for, it's not going to be a million miles away in volume, and it should be black. It is. So I'm going to take 10 ml. Hopefully I'm going to take 10 ml. Whatever's close to 10 ml. This is going to get very messy very quickly, I think. Something to wipe that one with. End up in a right mess. Come on, bubble. Yeah, it's very viscous. I can see why they say measure it. I've actually get that on my fingers already. Oh, I haven't. Just hasn't come up. Come on, man. Yes, all over. Kind of want that bubble up there. Or I'm gonna have to guess. Lots of it more in. Then after that, we're guessing, I'm afraid. Yeah, that bubble's showing no signs, so we'll just go with that. Right. We will try and clean that out afterwards. That might be the last time we see that syringe. So we need to do a some hardener. This one appears to be playing a little bit more ball. Oh, some of it went in. A spot more in. Right. Take what we haven't used back in there. Put the lid on that. Put the lid on that. Because it stinks. And then find something to mix it with. What have we got? Oh, I know what we've got. We've got some naff cotton buds where the ends keep coming off. So I don't want to. Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to naff cotton bud there. I'll just cut the frilly bit off. There's some horrible cheap cotton buds that we've got. Right, so give that a really good mix round and hopefully it'll thin up because it's actually, as you saw, it was quite viscous. And what I'm going to do is just paint it on, just to coat the fibres again, and hopefully it'll dry smooth if we don't put it on too thick. It looks like it's quite I'll leave that there. I'm going to get something to give me a little bit of hand. We've got another one of these. I've got the blue one down there. This is what I use for truing up. I'm hoping I'll be able to no, that's not going to work. Got that stuff on my fingers, it's stinging already. What I've got is I've got a truing skewer. I could just put a back wheel skewer in from a turbo trainer. That would do the same. I think this might work better. It's not. Rear wheel skewer it is then. Axles, rings, gears, forks. Come on, it must be in here somewhere. Bottom brackets, bearings. That's the one that's on wheels. It's over here. Wheels. Good. What is a long one? So what I'm going to do is just put even though it's a front wheel, I'm going to put a back wheel skewer in it. And it should. A little bit of persuasion go in there. There we go. That's it, we can paint it on now. Oh, I've got some of that in a cut, that doesn't Not sure what I did with that lot. Right, so I've painted some on here. I don't know if I stopped it when we got harassed then or whether I was starting it or what. So there'll be some editing there. So as soon as you turn the camera on, it's just like a freeway in here. So I've painted it on, it's starting to go off. The first section of it went on really well there. It's put a nice shine on it. That's covered the material, which is all I'm really bothered about. It's just protecting the carbon underneath. So we'll see how that goes. And then it looks like it runs fairly true, that wheel. Nice wheel, that. Anyway, we'll see how that goes, and hopefully the tub tape will turn up, and then we'll stick that on. But I think that's about all I can do tonight. I had loads of stuff I wanted to do tonight, and yet we failed on all scores. So we might as well have a quick wander around and have a look at a few things. Update report on the building. We had a build around, local firm Sanderson's. They must have been rubbing their hands together when I was asking them what I wanted, but then obviously they've realised how much work's involved and they don't fancy doing that much work, despite the fact that it was going to be a lot of money. I think it's because there's a lot of labouring involved. There's a lot of work needs doing underneath the block and beam floor. The block and beam floor needs relaying. You've got to bring all the materials down. So it's a lot of labour. So we're back to square one again. No further forwards with this. So I'm a bit miffed off with that because I've been sat there waiting for a quote, and if they weren't going to do it, they could have told me ages ago, to be honest. I got some story about that they're too busy now, but to even bother quoting, but they could have told me that straight away. So something's making some interesting noises over here. Oh bloody hell, that's warm. Let me just stand that out of the way. That's very hot. I'll keep this wheel spinning, I think. We might put a tad too much thickener in there. We might have to run that down as well with some wet and dry to smooth it down. We'll see how we go with it. It is like a fiberglass filler, but without the fibre in it. I could have used fiberglass filler, to be honest, but I wanted to try and get a nice solid finish because it is gel coat that's on it. They do it. I think the idea of putting cling film over the top and then putting the tire on would have been a good idea, but given I've seen the amount of heat that's generating, I'm not too concerned about that. That was making some interesting noises. Well, I never. Right, it is getting a bit smelly in here. We might have to bail in a minute. The BMXs, I haven't found anybody who can do the powder coating on them yet. The boardman's still not gone. There's 3 bikes outside we've had a run on, and I didn't even get a chance to video any of them. They're all being used by athletes at the long course weekend in Wales. And of course, they've all realised the bikes are now knackered and they need fixing. So 2 new chains, 1 gear cable, 1 set of bearings. Actually, we did record the bearings. To tell you that, no, we did record the bearings. That was on the ProPal. But there's a giant live that's come in that came in for a problem with braking issue and not changing gear, and I discovered that the chain was past its sell-by date, and the brake pads were shot, so we've stuck a new pair of brake pads on that one. These were the ones that we took off. And you can see they're pretty bold. I think the other one's worse. They were down to the metal, so the metal was rubbing on it, on the thing. Stuck a new chain on as well on that one. On the other one, the Planet X, it wasn't shifting. I was chasing it all over the place. It was poorly indexed. It got an 11-speed cog on a 12-speed wheel that was apparently causing problems. Not surprised. It wasn't indexed properly. I think I've said all that. And even when I sorted it all out and put a new chain on it, it still wasn't shifting right. You were having to double tap, either up or down. So I changed the jockey wheels, and that seemed to make it a little bit better because the jockey wheels were worn. And then as a last-ditch effort, even though the cable did feel like it was running smoothly, I swapped the cable out and it's fixed it. So the cable must have had some stretch in it, and it was just stretching rather than moving the derailleur. So we'll see how that goes. That's not getting warm, so that's okay. Just keep spinning it to keep it cool. Right, so I think I'm going to bail on this one, and then we'll have to piece it together. So the plan was to do that, get that cleaned off, show you putting a tub on with some tub tape, because I failed on that as well, and putting the right valve in and stuff, and how you do that for deep dish carbon wheels. And then we were going to have a bash at fixing the clunk, because the clunk, installment number 552 of trying to get rid of the clunk in the bottom bracket now has resulted in it's just it is what they call an elliptical shell. It has been damaged, or it's a poor manufacturer and it's moving around. So I am going to bond the bottom bracket converter I bought in there. Now, interestingly, when I started Googling it, just to see how common it was, it sounds like it's quite common. And a lot of people aren't actually using what I was going to use. I was going to use something like JB Weld or an epoxy or something, Araldite we have in the UK. Everybody was saying use a Loctite bearing sealer. So, and that was a 680, but they don't do 680 anymore. It's quite hard to get, certainly in the UK anyway. So a 638 is a comparable bonder, and it's slightly either thicker or more fluid, but it seems to be a better choice. So I've ordered it to some of that, and I'm just going to squirt some round it, clean it all up, squirt some round it, and bond it in. Two schools of thoughts on carbon frames, whether you should grease them anyway to stop them from getting damaged or to stop them from clunking. But a lot of people say no, you shouldn't do because it damages the shell. But I can't see how, because it's supposed to be all resin bonded anyway. So anyway, but as a net result of this being in an indeterminate state, obviously, then that came along. And that's been absolutely brilliant. So I think we've already done a couple of videos on that if you haven't already seen them. I think I swapped the brake pads out because the brake pads that came with it were a bit naff. I've done the front one. We've still got the back one to do. So I'm just waiting for that to turn up. Anyway, right, so that's about it for the workshop tonight. It's not too mucky, and there's just a lot of bikes outside waiting to be reunited with their owners. Anyway, this might end up being a short, and then we'll come back to it. Right, catch you later. Hope that's been useful, even though we... Hello, welcome back. Right, I think it's a few days later since the last filming. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's a bit warm. It's about 30 degrees. And a few of the bits have turned up for the bus. Tub tape. Actually, got some quite cheap in the end. So this is the stuff that I used to use when I was a kid. So it's a cloth double-sided tape. Should be enough on here to do 2 wheels. So we're gonna put that on the rim and then stick a tub on it and blow it up, hopefully. Right, I haven't done none of these for a while, so this should be good for a laugh. So the trick is with these, and one of the reasons why I prefer to use the double-sided tape rather than the adhesive, is that you can sit your tub on, and you then have the opportunity to center your tub up on the rim and then slide the double-sided tape out from underneath, which is how I used to do it when I was a young'un. So I'm just going to shove all this on, just ease it on, try and get all the bubbles out. Keep it as centered as possible. So I think the stuff we had didn't have a plastic film on it. It had a like a shiny paper film originally. So this might be easier to peel out. I might have completely misremembered it, and it might be exactly the same as this. It's lost in the annals of time. I'll try and keep it in a nice straight line. So I'm a bit toasty warm today. We had a quadrathon triathlon. So if you don't know a quadrathon, that's it's like a swim bike run, but after the bike you go and do a paddle as well. It's supposed to be sprint distance, so for adults it's a 4K paddle, which I think is a bit over. It's a bit too much, it takes too long, but it's how the format's been. But what it doesn't lend itself to is beginners, because for a beginner to do a 4K paddle is actually quite a big ask, and you know, it can take over an hour, and anything that's taken over an hour for one of the particular sections is not really a sprint, especially if they're then going to take an hour on the bike as well. So it was a 20k course this morning, and it was an off-roadish course. It was more of a gravel course. So it was, some of these have been competing for quite a long time, kind of the length of time that you'd be normally doing as a standard. So I do think it was a bit too long. They maybe should have cut the bike a bit and certainly cut the paddle. It's a big ass, that one. It's all right for the fast ones that have got really good, because that's the other thing as well. It's not very accessible for beginners, because you need an expensive racing boat, and the difference between an expensive racing boat and a a normal kayak is massive. It's sort of half the time, which is you don't get that with somebody riding a normal Halford special road bike versus a thing. It'd be like somebody trying to do a road race on a mountain bike comparison, which you still do get at triathlons. People riding a mountain bike. So there we go. All the one's done. No, pretty good. Look all right. Look nice. These will look well sat on the what's now the spare bike. But I might decide to do the relays on that, because you do tend to smash your bikes around a bit on that. So that'll be quite good. So what do we use? We use Vittora Rallies. There you go. Tubular training tyres. They're pretty much look almost identical to the ones I used to ride as a kid. Removable core, so that is important if you're using dished wheels, that you've got removable cores. This is the tub tape used. It's the Yantex, which it's another subdivision of Velox, which is the company that make that. But Amazon sent me the wrong stuff, because I ordered that originally and they sent me that. So that's actually cloth rim tape. Anyway, right. So we've got that double-faced tubular gluing tape for 2 roos, which is a wheel. And actually it does say on the back that's exactly it. So they put both pieces off before they drop that on, seat the rim, and then pull them both off. So I guess you could pull them both off at the same time and meet in the middle. But doesn't matter, either way, it's the same thing. That's it. And the what were the extensions? So the extension 65 millimeter valve extension by Schwalbe, or Schwalbe, however you want to pronounce it. They come with a little extractor tool, so we'll chuck that in there. And the other one I've got these came as part of the kit. So that's your core extractor, that's your thingy, and that's for removing a core out of a different type of one. There are a few bits and bobs in there. As you might have seen, I bought a special syringe for doing the gel, the sealant. So you could use tubeless sealant in this if you want, or just use sludge, anything you want in them for the winter. So we have got the original Tyres tubes over here. So one of these I know has got a flat, or I think it's got a flat. They're both, one's a Vittora, one's a, not sure. This one looks quite old. They're both 25mm. They're both old style of tread patterns, so I'll save them for the winter. Even if it's got a slow puncher, it'll be fine. Put some more sealing gel in, they'll probably be fine. As I think the actual leak was in the valve rather than anything else. So we'll see where we get with that. I'm going to need to put that back in before I forget. Another one, and then we can stick these on the what is affectionately known as Reggie Junior, which is the Holsworth Super Professional with the elongated bottom bracket, which we're going to have a look at next. Can get this off, and you need to go on that side. And I need to stick you on that side. 4 off. Oh, there we go. Job's a good one. Hope that was useful. Let's say I'm trying to do a few more of these how-tos, but that's probably something you've not seen many of. No, not many people run tubs. So there you go. They're actually a really, really simple way of doing tyres. They are so, there's a reason why a lot of the professionals still use them, because they are so easy to get off. You just chuck one of those in your back pocket, and then an air canister or a pump, and that's all you need. You don't need spoons, you don't need anything. You saw how quick I put that tyre on. Right, when you're out in the road, there's no faffing about with tape or anything. You literally just put that over. It's flat. You fiddle around with it just to make sure it's seated. But do you know what? You're probably not bothered because you just want it to get you home. And you put it on, and off you go. Blow it up, and you're done. So that's it.